What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at LeetCode problem number 3548 equals sum grid partition 2. This is, of course, a continuation of equal sum grid partition 1. So if you haven't already solved that problem, be sure to check out my video on the previous version of this problem. There are a lot of similarities between the two, so I definitely encourage you to go and check out that solution first. With that said, let's get into it. So in this problem, we're given a grid of positive integers, and we want to see if it's possible to make a single cut on the grid either vertically or horizontally where the sum of the elements in those two sections are equal to each other. So if we take this 2x2 grid for an example and we were to split it horizontally, what we'd end up with is two smaller sections that look like this. And if we were to add up the sums of these two sections, we have 1 plus 4 is 5, 2 plus 3 is 5. Those two sections have an equal sum, and therefore we would be able to return true because we were able to find a partition where the two sections have an equal sum. Now, if instead we were to make a vertical cut, we'd end up with two sections that look like this. And if we were to add up the two sections, we would get 1 plus 2 is 3, and 4 plus 3 is 7. So these two sections don't have an equal sum, but there's actually something we can do in this problem that we weren't able to do in the previous version of equal sum grid partition. And that is we can actually remove at most one cell from either of the sections to try to get an equal sum. So in this example, we can see that the second section has a higher sum than the first section. So is there any element we can remove from here that would make these two equal? Well, if we were to remove 4 from this section, we'd have 7 minus 4 equals 3. And so by removing this element from this section, we're able to now have an equal sum partition. One key thing to note about removing elements from a section is that we have to make sure that the resulting section doesn't get broken apart. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So in this example, let's say we want to make a horizontal cut and see if we can end up with two sections that have an equal sum. So for the top section, we do 1 plus 2 plus 4, which is 7. And for the bottom section, we do 2 plus 3 plus 5, which is 10. So although the bottom section has a larger sum than the first section, there is an element here that we could remove to get us to 7. And that is the 3 over here, because if we did 10 minus 3, we would get 7. But watch what happens when we remove 3 from this section. What we end up with is a bottom section where it has a disconnect in the middle. And so we wouldn't actually be able to make this cut in order to get 7 as a sum for either section. So what this example tells us is that anytime we're removing an element from a section where that section only has a width of one element, we're going to end up having a disconnected result. So in what scenarios are we not able to remove elements from a section? Well, we established that for any section that only has a length of 1, so for example, if we were to make a cut here, this section only has one row, and likewise if we made a cut here, this section only has one column, we aren't able to remove any elements between the start and end of that section, because we end up with a section whose start and end are disconnected. So if we're going column by column or row by row, in what scenarios do we end up with those kinds of sections that only have a width of 1? Well, if we're making horizontal cuts, anytime we make our first horizontal cut or our last horizontal cut, we're going to end up with a section that only has a height of 1. And likewise, anytime we're making vertical cuts, our first and our last vertical cuts are going to end up with sections that only have a width of 1. So now that we know when we can and can't remove a value from a section, how do we determine what value to remove in the first place? Well, if you recall from the previous version of this problem, we want to find a section that has a sum equal to half of the total sum. So if we now have the added power of being able to remove a value from a section in order to get those two to equal each other, what's a formula we could write that would help us determine what that value is? Well, if a section sum is equal to half of the total sum, then another way to write that is 2 times the section sum equals the total sum. And if 2 times the section sum ended up being greater than the total sum, that would mean that we would have to remove some value x in order to get it equal to the total sum. So we could rewrite this as 2 times section sum minus x equals the total sum. And if we were to rearrange that formula, x equals 2 times the section sum minus the total sum. And if we were to put that in practice and get the total sum of this grid, which is 5 plus 5 equals 10, if we made a vertical cut here, we would end up with two sections with a size of 3 and 7 respectively. And if we wanted to know what value we'd have to remove from this section in order to have a valid partition, we would just do 2 times 7 minus 10, which is 14 minus 10, which is 4. And then all we'd have to do is look up if there's any values equal to 4 in this section, and if so, we know that we can remove it. So now we know what positions from a section we can and can't remove, and we also know how to determine what value we're looking for when we want to remove a value from a section. But how do we maintain the usage of a prefix sum from the previous problem, where we would go row by row or column by column, adding to the prefix sum as we go, and checking it against the total sum to determine if we found a valid partition? Well, similar to the previous problem, we'd have to look at all of the rows from top to bottom, maintaining a prefix sum as we go, and do the same for all of the columns. But because we can remove elements from either the left or the right section of a grid, we'd also have to go row by row from bottom to top, and column by column from right to left. So if we don't want to write code to account for all of these possible scenarios, what's an alternative? Well, instead, we can just write a solution that makes cuts from top to bottom. And when we want to make cuts in another order, we just rotate the entire grid 90 degrees. So if we were to rotate this grid and perform the same operations on it, instead of going top to bottom, we'd be going right to left. And if we continued rotating it, then we'd go bottom to top, and a third rotation would get us left to right. And with these 4 passes of the grid all going in different directions, we can still use our prefix sum strategy from the first problem, and we only need to consider the removal of values from the first section, because removing values from the second section will get taken care of when we make that rotation. So there's definitely a lot to take in with this problem, but let's move on to the solution in code and see how it all comes together. So here we are in LeetCode, and the first thing I'm going to do is determine what the total sum of the grid is. So we can initialize a variable total sum and set it to 0. And then we can also initialize some helper variables, rows equals length of grid, and columns equals length of grid at position 0. Then we can go ahead and iterate through the grid. So for I in range rows, for j in range calls, total sum plus equals grid ij. Now that we've computed the total sum, remember we're going to have to be doing this algorithm in 4 rotations. So let's create a for loop that will run 4 times. We're going to have an iterator rotation that we don't end up using. And we set the range to 4 so that we end up with 4 iterations of this loop. Next, we're going to need a way to store all of the values that we're able to remove, because again, in this problem, we can remove at most 1 value from a section to get it to equal to the other section. So I'll initialize a set removable vals, and we use a set because it has constant lookup time. And then, like in our last problem, we're going to be using a prefix sum to maintain the current sum of our section. So we'll initialize the prefix sum to 0. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go from top to bottom, row by row, adding to our prefix sum and comparing that against the total sum to see if we found a valid partition. So for I in range rows -1, because again, if we were to make a cut at the last position, we would end up with an empty section. And then we want to go through all of the columns in that row for j in range calls and get the value for that position in the grid. And of course, we want to add that value to our prefix sum so that once we finish going through all of the columns in this row, we're able to determine if we've made a valid cut. But one other thing we want to do is we want to add to our set of removable values, because we might end up needing to remove a value in order to get a valid partition. So we would also write removable values dot add value. But we can't add any value, because remember, there are certain instances where we can't remove a value. So here we want to account for the condition where in the first row, cells between the first and last column can't be removed. So if I is greater than 0, we're able to add any value to our set of removable values, but otherwise we can only add the value if it's the first column or last column. So if j equals 0, or if j equals columns minus 1. Then when we've gotten the prefix sum for that entire row, we want to see if we can make a valid partition with it. So because we also have to consider the ability to remove a value from this section, we want to see what the difference is when we subtract the total sum from the prefix sum times 2. So we can write diff equals prefix sum times 2 minus total sum. And if this value is equal to 0, that means that we don't have any values that we need to remove, and that the prefix sum is equal to exactly half of the total sum, which, going back to the first version of this problem, means that this section is equal to the other section. So if the difference is 0, we can just return true. But also, if the difference is non-zero, we still might be able to make a valid cut here if we can find that difference in our removable values. So if difference equals 0, or the difference is in removable values, we can return true. Now, one other thing we didn't consider when adding this value to the removable value set is that if this grid has a single column in it, unless it's the first row in the grid, we can't actually remove it, because otherwise we'd end up with a disconnected section. The reason we didn't exclude it here is because at this point, it's the last row in that section. So we're still able to remove it and not end up with a disconnected section. But now that we're going to be continuing to add values to this prefix sum, we can no longer consider it as a removable value, and we have to remove it. So if the number of columns is 1, then we need to remove that value from removable vals. But we have to be careful when removing this value, because we're using a set, and so if we have two positions that have the same value, it's going to remove both of them. And that's okay if we're removing a middle row, but the first row is still removable. So we have to exclude it from this if statement by checking if the value does not equal the first column and first row in the grid. So one last thing to consider is once we finished processing the first row in the grid, the values between the first and last column that we excluded from the removable vals set are going to be valid. And so we need to actually add them back to the set. And to do that, we can just check if I equals 0, then we're going to update the set with those values between the first and last column. So grid at the ith row, or you could write 0 in this case, it would be the same either way, from 1 to cols minus 1, which will exclude that last position because we've already added it. And so this is essentially the entire algorithm. We just need to repeat it for all 4 orientations of the grid. So the last thing we have to do is rotate the grid. And to do that, I'm going to define a helper function called rotate. So grid equals self.rotate grid. And we'll get to defining this in just a second. But also, we want to swap the values for rows and columns because the grid is going to be rotated 90 degrees. So rows and columns equals columns rows. And now if we still haven't found a valid partition that we can make to this grid, we know that we can return false. So now the last thing we have to do is define that function to rotate the array. So it's going to require grid to be passed into it, and we're going to get the rows and columns of it. And then we're going to define a new grid that's going to take its place. And we're going to initialize it with empty values to start. So new grid equals 0 times the number of rows for j in range calls. And then next we have to assign the rotated grid to this new grid. So for I in range rows, for j in range calls. So if we were to remap the value for the grid at this position, so value equals grid at I, j, we would swap the row position with the column position for that value. So new grid j, and then we would invert the row position for the new grid's column. So rows minus 1 minus I equals value. And from here, we can just return the new grid. So with that, that's the entire solution. Let's run it and see if it passes all the test cases. And looks like we have a couple syntax errors, so there should be an if here, and we should be using calls, not call. But it looks like all the test cases pass, and if we submit this, we can see that the solution is accepted. So there you have it, guys. If this video was helpful to you, be sure to like it. And if you have any suggestions or questions about my implementation, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.